Want some fun ways to use an on-camera flash like this one? Check this out. This video is sponsored by Squarespace. I'm wedding and portrait photographer Vanessa Joy. Ooh, I've been doing photos for like the past 20 years, so I have a lot to say about an on-camera flash. Now, what you're about to watch is a ton of ideas and ways to use on-camera flash, but I will say it does have to have a pivotable head. That's really key to being able to use an on-camera flash to the max, so take a look. On-camera flash, direct flash specifically, is just all the rage right now, so we're gonna just have a little bit of fun doing some direct flash, not so direct, and then just some tricky little things you can do with an on-camera flash. Love it. Let's get shoe action. Awesome. Love it. Kind of seated here. Yeah, that way you're automatically like a little taller than me. Get some legs. Perfect. And now we got a whole circle going on. Yes, that was perfect. This is just fun stuff. Do me a favor, take like a step backwards and then I'll be able to get right there. That's it. That's perfect. Love these. It's easy for me because I've been using Squarespace for over a decade, and you can see it at vanessajoy.com. I decided to use Squarespace so long ago because it was, and still is, one of the easiest ways to make a website out there, hands down. Squarespace is a platform where you can create beautiful custom websites in just a few minutes. Choose from a plethora of templates where you can easily plug and play your own work. It's an all-in-one platform for building your brand and growing your business online. We all know that an online presence is crucial for your brand, so build one that stands out. Head over to this link for my exclusive 10% discount on your first domain at Squarespace. Now back to the video. Bounce Flash is super helpful in any kind of events or indoor area. Using direct flash doesn't usually give you a very flattering light pattern. It is about 95,000 degrees in here, so we're gonna do this really fast, but I promise the concept is pretty easy. You need a flash. I'm using the Profoto A1X here, but the concepts that I'm teaching you will work with any kind of flash that you are using. It's about where you're pointing the flash, not necessarily what flash you have. So this will not work if you are in a place that has dark ceilings. Will not work at all. If you have light ceilings like this, it's going to work perfectly. This, where you've got basically a big white tent, is ideal. So these photos are probably gonna look better than most bounce flash videos that you've seen because this is an ideal scenario. If you're in a building where there is some dark walls and some light walls, get used to where that light colored wall is. That's gonna be your friend. Now, what you wanna do is have control of the head of your flash, and you need a flash that tilts and swivels around like this. If there is only one light wall or ceiling, you're going to always point this light at that wall or ceiling. Now, preferably, I like to point it a little bit back and at about a 45-degree angle up. The reason being is it's gonna bounce up that way, and when it comes and bounces back at my subject, I'm going to light their face. So depending on which direction they're turned, that's where I want to point the light. So I'm gonna have a lower ISO here to mimic more of a dark scenario so you can really see the flash working. So let's go ahead and take a picture without the flash on at all. We'll see what that looks like. Wonderful, super dark and completely useless, but that's about where you want to start. When you're setting your exposure, you actually want it to look somewhat like this, where you can still see the background a little bit, but once you flash, it's going to illuminate it a little bit more. Now, depending if there's uplighting or candles or other elements in the room, your settings are going to vary. So me telling you what settings I have is a little bit irrelevant, but I will tell you this. When I'm usually at a wedding reception, I'm typically between 1600 and 2000 on my ISO. I'm roughly around 2.5 on my aperture because that's the kind of look I want. And then I am as high as I can get on my camera's sync speed, which for this camera right here is 200th of a second, so that I can freeze action. Because I am letting ambient light into the room, I need to freeze the action with my shutter speed as well as this flash. Okay. From there, once you get your base exposure, turn on your flash, and I like to have it set to TTL. I want my flash doing the work for me, especially since I'm moving around constantly. It needs to reevaluate how bright the flash needs to be. Admittedly, the straight out of camera photos that you will be seeing throughout this entire video are a little bit dark and a little bit yellow. I really should have checked my histogram instead of just looking at the back of the LCD screen, so lesson learned. Anyway, here's how I edited them in Lightroom, just brightening them up, adding a little bit of color adjustment, and smoothing out the skin. I hope you like them, and let's get back into how I got them. All right, so Juliana is going to keep her face towards this direction, which means I'm going to point my light towards that direction. Now again, if you only have one white wall, one light colored wall, your choice is to point your flash at that light no matter where you're standing or where your subject is. If you have control, you might want to plan that out. All right, let's go ahead and take a shot. Wonderful, so this looks pretty good. I'm gonna come in a little bit closer. I'm actually gonna raise my ISO a little bit because my flash power was at 10, meaning it's working pretty hard. And me raising the ISO will help my flash not have to pump out so much light. Great, so as you can see with this photo, the light is towards and going into her eyes. Now I'm gonna have her stay that way, and if I take this flash and I point it the other direction, let's look at what it does to the light pattern on her face. Turn your head a little more that way, yep. Good. Now the light pattern on her face, there's no light in her eyes, and the only thing I'm really lighting is the side of her nose here, as opposed to before. Look how gorgeous that light is on her. All right, now the same thing happens whether you want to go horizontal or vertical. So you're gonna get used to playing this game of moving your flash around. That means you're going to have to continually change this. So if I just shot like this, Juliana, and she is going to look great with the light coming from that side, that means when I go vertical, I can't leave it here. I've got to turn it up and back into the position that it was before to get a vertical photo. Nice. With the same light pattern. Do that one more time, but just bring this arm back. Nice, and then turn a little bit towards me. Perfect. So as you're shooting throughout, you know, people are dancing and you're moving around, you're constantly moving your light depending on where the direction of the person's face is going and where your wall is, and if you're shooting horizontal or vertical. So that's what you have to think about for a bounce flash. It's probably the way that I shoot 99% of my events. Why you would use flash and ways to make it look better even when you're outside. So this is our model, Juliana, and she's going to be modeling for us. Now we are outside, we're in the shade, and I know you probably think to yourself, why on earth would I need flash when we're outside? There's enough light. But flash is not just about adding more light to your photo, it's about molding the light to your photo. So let's go ahead and just take a picture of Juliana without any flash at all. I am going to use, you know what, let's use aperture priority. So I'm gonna go to, let's go to f2.5. This is a 50mm 1.8 lens. I want to go down to 2.5 so I can really blur the background around her. It's also going to allow my ISO to be a little bit lower, which it's bright enough certainly to be pretty low. I think we'll probably be fine at 100 ISO, and then because I'm in aperture priority, the camera's going to do the thinking for me and set my shutter speed. And I know because it's so bright out, it's not going to go too low and I won't have any camera shake or blurry pictures. So let's just take a test shot. All right, and it's a little bit bright because I had my exposure compensation up, which just means I'm telling the camera to be a little bit brighter than it thinks it should be. So I'm gonna go ahead and change that. I'm gonna go ahead and hit Q. That allows me to start moving things around and changing. And what's nice is if you just wait on any button, it's gonna tell you what it is. But I'm gonna go here to the exposure compensation and let's set that. Let's just set it to 0. So I don't want my picture to be any brighter or any darker than the camera thinks it should be. All right, let's take another shot because that one was a little bit too bright. Again, my flash is on, but I'm not using it right now. All right, there we go. So this is a pretty great shot, but because I'm not controlling the light, you know, she's got a little bit of darkness in their eyes, you know, they're not bright and vibrant, and her eyes are a gorgeous blue. So here are some options. As soon as you turn the flash on, we're gonna have it set to ETTL, which just means auto for your flash. So let's take a picture just like that. I'm gonna take one vertically, and I'm also going to take one horizontally, because believe it or not, it makes a little bit of a difference. Now we have a little bit more light in her eyes. They're more bright, vibrant. What's nice is if you're photographing someone who's older and doesn't want, you know, dark circles or wrinkles, when you put a little bit of light into their face using a flash, it's gonna help smooth those out. So, little tip there. All right, so as this is, yes, her face is a little bit brighter, but it's not really looking so natural. So here are some options. Number one, we could spread the light out a little bit more if we want to, and it's gonna dissipate. Let's see what that does. That picture right there, the light is spread out a little bit more. This is helpful. You just bring this down, pull it out and bring it down. This is helpful if you're shooting groups or a bunch of people and you need the light to spread out a little bit further. All right. Now here's a nice little homemade trick that I'm gonna show you. What you can do by pressing the button and pushing it straight, I'm going to show you how to bounce flash even when you're outside. Now this is really only gonna work if you're in close proximity to the person, and it is gonna suck up a lot of your batteries, but you know what? You're gonna like it. All I have here is a white card, and not even totally white, but somewhat white is really all you need. And you can slide it right in here. By using this as a way to bounce the light off of the card and back in her face, we've created a little bit different light pattern on her face, and it looks a little bit more natural. Another thing we can do is bounce this light off of another reflective surface. This is a white wall. I can bounce the light off of here and back into Juliana's face. So what you're gonna do is come up a little bit closer to me, right about there. And the closer she is to the wall, believe it or not, the softer the light is gonna be. What you're looking for here is wherever your camera is positioned, the angle of where it hits, it comes back out at an equal angle. So you want her to be right about there. Nice. Let's try another shot. Turn your head a little bit more towards me, right there. Perfect. Yes, this looks great. So now we've created a nice light pattern on her face, filled it in, and brightened up her eyes. Hey, do you like this video? I have a lot more for you. If you head down to the description of this video, I have a lot of educational links, but the one I want to talk to you about right now is the one for the 5 flash tips that are going to make you look like a pro photographer, even if you've never picked up a flash. These 5 tips cover both on and off camera flash techniques that don't require a lot of complicated setup or thought behind it. Grab the free download and get shooting with flash, or continue shooting and expanding upon the knowledge you already have. All right, back to the video. So on camera flash, I know that sounds like, ugh, the worst thing in the world, but we can do a lot of fun stuff with indoor on camera flash. Just play up like as many shapes we can make, because that shape is going on the wall behind you, whatever you make. Yes, awesome. Let's hand you a martini glass. There's no alcohol involved in the making of this video. So yeah, so just think like trying to look sexy, someone needs to come hit on you while you're hanging out at a bar. Yeah, I love that. Let's kick these up a notch. I'm thinking maybe if you lean here, almost like maybe that's the bar you're leaning on. Oh, that looks so good though. Perfect. Good. Awesome. I wonder if this would work. Oh, it's gonna work. Perfect. So just kind of looking in the mirror. So you know what might be fun? If you put your shoe up here, like you're trying to do your shoe, and then this is kind of just in the background. Yeah, like kind of reach down. Yeah, that's perfect. That's exactly what I'm going for. Oh, this is so much fun. This is just the most fun I've had in a long time. I'm so excited y'all are here. So my goal here, I could shoot this in natural light because I have a nice window here, but I want to utilize the flash so that I have more control over the light direction, where it's coming from, in relation to where I want to shoot. And for this one, I want to get the lights that we have on the wall. They're different colors. That's pretty fun. They're actually Christmas colors at the moment. But we'll use that, and we'll use this V flat to make my little light a big light. So let's shoot. I'm gonna get a little lower.
Yeah.
And try to do go like in this way so that, yep. And then you could look towards me. And kind of nice.
Please.
Cute. And then kind of just do this. Yep, that looks good. Yeah, that's perfect. Hold that there. Your hair like cascades down, so it's a lot of fun. Cool. Get some horizontal. There, the light on you is like gorgeous. The light is just amazing. Actually, let's do some that's a little bit more angular. Let me see how that looks. And then look up that way again. Let's see. Oh yeah, definitely. I think I'll go up and down now. Make sure it's coming out. Yep. Perfect. So these look really great. I'm able to point the light right where I want to, just using basically bounce flash techniques. And it's giving me a little bit more control over the quality of light on her face versus if I just went for natural light. Cool, let me take a natural light shot because I'm gonna have to go up in ISO and down in aperture. It's still pretty, but I'm sacrificing light direction and I'm sacrificing color. And I also have to sacrifice raising my ISO. So it's nice, but I have a lot more control here. And then I can make the background go a bit darker because the light is closer to her face versus letting all the background basically go green like it did here, green and red. When before, if I wanted the green and red, I would just incorporate it into the shot. So just gives you a little bit more control and a lot of control out of this little flash. I hope I've inspired you and showed you some fun new tricks that you can use with on-camera flash. Let me know if I missed anything or if you have other suggestions or ways to inspire me with on-camera flash below in the comments. Leave some love, hit subscribe. I'll see you next time.